Senzo Meyiwa trial. His advocate TT THOBANE paying for his betrayal. Guys, could it be that advocate TT THOBANE is now busy paying for his betrayal against advocate Malisela Tefo, who had withdrawn from this case a couple of months ago? Because I find it very strange and very weird at the same time, because how possible is it that you are representing someone who had to go and change you with another advocate without telling you anything? So you are getting surprise inside the court without them saying anything to you. So you have to find it in the last minute that, dude, look, from now on, you are no longer going to be representing me. Is there any way we can say perhaps Advocate Malisela Tefo is behind all this? Stay tuned, watch this video until the end. There is a lot I'm going to tell you. In this video, guys, I'm going to tell you the news that I have in my possession right now. What could be the possible reasons that had really motivate this accused number 1 to 2 for them to abandon people who were representing them all along in the last minute, for them to go and think of engaging with someone else. We all know that this case of Senzo Meyiwa trial has been really bringing a lot of drama. There is no a day which will pass by without seeing even a small drama inside the court, whether it is between the councillors, whether it's between the advocates with the judge, whether it is everyone. It is all about drama after drama, and that left us with one question in mind: for how long should we have to wait in order for us to get to see the true justice about this innocent man who was killed in 2014? Because I really feel for his family. I really feel for his children. Senzo Meyiwa children right now, after all these years that has been killed, they are growing up. They are no longer those small girls. Where is the baby girl that he had with Kelly Kumalo? Where it is the one he had with Mandisa? They are no longer small kids. Very soon, those kids, they will have to bring someone who will want to marry them. Someone who would like to pay lobola for them. And as African, there is no way that those kids will just go and get married like that without bringing someone in the family. And in order for a man to decide to lobola a woman, you will need to know the background of this woman. Where is she coming from? Who is her parents? Where do they live? You need to know a family history. Now, when this kid have to reach to that age of finding someone who will have to come and lobola them, what kind of history will these two kids or these girls have to give when it comes to concern about their father, Robert Senzo Meyiwa? Will them also be able to say that, no, look, when I was 4 years or when I was 3 months old, my dad was killed in this kind of circumstance? Since then, we never know the person who had killed my dad. Is that what you guys you're trying to put in the mind of this kid? No. I believe that this kid deserves to know the truth about what happened to their father. And the person who's guilty for this, they should come and pay for their crime. Now, guys, besides all this drama we've been seeing inside the court, we are tired. We are tired. Yes, we are tired, guys. A court, it can't go through the whole month without us getting any postponement. Last week when this court was postponed, we were all expecting to see the witness, the new witness inside the court, because we all saw last week how the famous, I'm sorry, I have to call him the famous witness, because as I said in my previous video that Senzo Meyiwa's death have really made many people to become famous out of blue. Yes, everyone, even people who are supposed not to become famous tomorrow, don't be surprised some of these people even they become more celebrities, because they all have used the name of Senzo Meyiwa. You get to see some of them how they went on Netflix, they make money. Some of them they even went to sign a big contract with Netflix. Of course, I'm talking this time about Kelly Kumalo, who signed a very big deal of something like 6 million with Netflix. Like enough, what had really hold her so far was the contract that he had signed with his show producer, the show that you guys were getting to see on Show Mask, how do you call it? Yeah, Show Mask. That's what really hold her. But otherwise, if it was not because of that, by this time you guys, you're supposed to be hearing stories. And that has not been abandoned. It's still, the project is still there. One of these days, you get to see Kelly Kumalo inside the Netflix talking about Senzo. Beside her, who else? His so-called best friend. You get to see how greedy he is. He make money on the name of his friend. And he chop this money. Yo, yeah, the kind of friends we have in this world. He chopped this money all by himself without even paying pampers for one of Senzo's child. Without even going to consult the Senzo Meyiwa family, the mother especially. So you get to see on how a person get to show the true colors. Now, we're here inside the court. We're expecting for the new witness to show up so that we can get to move with all these things. Unfortunately, that is not happening. Why? Because we are having someone who's not willing to do the job the way they're supposed to be doing it. And now it becomes a serious problem. It becomes a challenging for people to get to understand exactly when will this court have to finish. Guys, I keep on telling you, you have not seen it all. In this case of Robert Senzo Meyiwa trial, you must expect of a lot of things to come, good and bad. Yo, so guys, today, by now, even those who did not get the chance to watch what happened inside the court, what happened is that, as usual, the state's advocate George Baloy is supposed to be calling for the new witness to stand in the box so that he can introduce him to the court for the records, and after then they will have to start crossing him up examination. That unfortunately it did not happen, because there was someone called by the name of Sipo who shows up inside the court saying that I'm being assigned to represent accused 1 to 2. As you all know, accused 2 is the one who has been mentioned inside that court by Bongani Tumelo Tanzi. Sorry guys, the names are now confusing me. I mean to say Tumelo Matlala had mentioned Bongani Tanzi, so that the court should keep in mind that it's the man who he identified as one who was in that house, or the person who had entered that house. Okay. The next thing, the man is saying that I need to be here because the family of these two people, these two accused, had asked me to come and defend them, so I need to take over TT THOBANE. And he had to say that the family, they decided to give him this case because he was in a roundback in court representing someone else, a different case, I believe, which has nothing to do with this one of Senzo Meyiwa. So the guy says that he was in busy with other stuff, but the family had to call him, and they want him to take the case of these two accused because the accused number one grow up along with their son, which is accused number two, Bongani Tanzi. So they grew up together with accused number one. Therefore, there is no way they will allow only this advocate to represent Bongani Tanzi. Instead, he should present even accused number one included. Okay. Now the question they ask him to know, why only now? Because this is not good at all. Why you did not ask, at least let your learned friends, other counselors to know? Because George Baloyi, when he stood to confirm about it, he said that no one knew about it. They all find out as much the court was finding out about this. So now they ask him a question to know why you did not do this before. The man says that no, I was busy in Randbeck. That is the reason why I could not be able to get in touch with them, because I did not even have their numbers. So Judge Maumela had to ask him, you should have at least tried even to find someone who was at this court to let them know that you are on your way coming, so that we should know, instead of you coming to surprise us like this. The man insisted, saying that he did not have enough time for him to do all that. Well, when they get to ask TT THOBANE, the man was representing this accused 1 to 2. He simply asked the court to resume. To the court to adjourn for a few minutes, so that he can get also to discuss it with the accused number 1 and 2, because they just surprised him. He was not all aware about it. Now, guys, after this took place, this meeting took place, we get to see how Judge Maumela was sad, disappointed, and down at the same time, saying that this court is postponed until next year, May 2nd of May. That is when this case will have to resume. So we're talking about more than 6 months that we will have to wait in order for us to get to know what happened to Senzo Meyiwa. Guys, we're talking about more than 6 months, should I say half a year, for the Meyiwa family, Senzo Meyiwa mother, brothers and sisters, his children, to get to know what had happened to Senzo Meyiwa. And even when they will resume in 2nd of May, please bear in mind that there is no any guarantee which prove that these people, they will definitely end up to move that quick in order for them to come up with the true justice about what had happened in Senzo Meyiwa trial. I mean, when Senzo Meyiwa was killed. That is one thing we should know for sure, and we should make peace with it. So we'll have to wait again for so long, but without nothing special happening. That's not good, guys. At least showing a little bit of mercy on Senzo Meyiwa's family was gonna do them good. They were gonna feel a bit consoled by everyone who seemed to be concerned about what had happened to Senzo Meyiwa. But seeing all this drama, well, I don't know. Now, guys, let's talk. Let me fix myself. This is getting more interesting. The question I asked you in the beginning of this video, could it be that Advocate TT THOBANE is paying for his betrayal against Malisela Tefo? It's just a question I am asking. And in this video, obviously, in a few minutes, a few seconds actually, I'm going to describe to you why I ask you this question. The second question, is it possible that Advocate Malisela Tefo is behind all this? We don't know. But let's start with our first question. Is TT THOBANE paying for his betrayal? Well, guys, the betrayal I'm talking about here is that, as I mentioned in our part 1 of this video, that this case of Senzo Meyiwa, since everyone, they are following it more closer to get to know exactly what had happened, some people, they feel like it is a better opportunity for them to become famous. Some people, they feel like it is a better opportunity for them to make money, regardless of what field they are working in. Whether they are music singers, whether they are nyaupe boys somewhere in the neighborhood, whether they are lawyers, whether they are what, everyone, they feel like there is an opportunity, an open opportunity, which we can actually take advantage. That's how you get to see everyone that doing what pleases them, because they know at the end of the day, people will have to pay attention to what they're saying. That's why you get to see people who were not even known. Today, everyone are talking about them. All because they use the name of Senzo Meyiwa to become who they are today, without mentioning the name, because there are so many in general. I'm sure you're looking at me like, yeah, it's making sense on what he's saying. Of course I'm making sense. You know, and you know very well who I'm talking about. Well, guys, so Malisela Tefo, we all know that he had withdrawn from this case for some times. After a certain period, we saw how Malisela Tefo wanted to come back on this case of Robert Senzo Meyiwa. And on our site, I had told you some of the reasons that really motivate Malisela Tefo to make a U-turn, a shocking U-turn. And one of these reasons I told you is that the moment when Malisela Tefo withdrew from this case, he had exposed himself against his enemies. Because the moment when Malisela Tefo was inside the court, all we know he was doing, he was busy exposing the master class which is behind this case. He keep on exposing people without mentioning the names. He keep on opening the public opinions, telling them that, guys, this is not just something simple. There's something big happening here. These people, they have failed to arrest the right people. They are trying to flame some other people so that they should come and pay for the death of Robert Senzo Meyiwa. Therefore, I've been receiving a lot of threatening. I've been receiving a lot of message. And I get to tell you guys that Malisela Tefo was more protected when he was inside the court, when he was inside this Robert Senzo Meyiwa trial. He was kind of like untouchable, because everyone who wanted to hurt Malisela Tefo, they were afraid at that time, because they know if we hurt this person, plus with everything that has been said inside the court, which means it will confirm everything that we had something to do with the death of Robert Senzo Meyiwa. So if something happened to Malisela Tefo today, tomorrow people will say that, okay, we are the one who killed him. To avoid the problem, let us leave him. But the day when Malisela Tefo decided to withdraw from this case, that is the day he changed everything and things stand around for him. These people, they get an access, and you guys, you get to see on how they need now to rush up, as the ANC people does in the councillor meeting when it comes to vote the motion of no confidence against someone. They rush quick. So we get to see on how these people did rush quick in order for them to suspend Malisela Tefo. They took his advocate or legal representative certificates away from him. And as far as I know, until I'm being proven wrong, Malisela Tefo is not being considered as a lawyer anymore. He's a simple civilian, just like me and you. All because of that mistake, that move he had made. So he had exposed himself. On the other side, when he took that move, when he made that move, I mean to say, his learned friend, his colleague, TT THOBANE, took advantage of it. And you guys, if you get to remember back then, you see that TT THOBANE was kind of like envying to get all the glory and all the pressing that Malisela Tefo was receiving back then. Because in most of the cases, it was Malisela Tefo who had to stand. And if it happened that Malisela Tefo is fighting with Judge Maumela, you get to see TT THOBANE standing up to take over. So in other words, TT THOBANE was like someone who was behind Malisela Tefo to boost him, to tell him what to say and what not to say. But when Malisela Tefo leave, TT THOBANE rushed to take over the case. And when he took he took control of the case, he even closed the door for Malisela Tefo to not come back. When Malisela Tefo was inside the court, when he had some rumors that they are going to take his certificates away as a lawyer, Malisela Tefo make a shocking return inside the court, begging his colleague that they should let him back in. When he asked them to take him back in, it was not for him to go and and try to fix whatever he have done as a mistake. No, he was trying also to protect his certificate, because once he's in, perhaps the final judgment which it was reserved for him, maybe they were gonna think like, no, look, since this guy is busy inside the Pretoria High Court, we can punish him, but let us not take his certificate because he's busy currently representing some accused in Senzo Meyiwa trial. And when Malisela Tefo came back to ask to meet Judge Maumela so that they can have a conversation, everyone refused. Why did they refuse? Because when I'm talking about everyone refused, I'm seeing Zandile Mshilolo, I'm seeing the state advocate George Baloyi. They refused to even get to listen to Malisela Tefo. They did not even want to allow him to go and meet Judge Maumela and tell him what was in his mind. And this order, they receive it from TT THOBANE, who feel like since Malisela Tefo had left, there is no way that it's gonna come back here. He's already left. I already took over the case, so I'm not gonna allow him to come back again here. So he had to ask his learned friends to support him, and they did so. You guys, you get to see on how Zandile Mshilolo, when she took the platform on that day, she had to tell the court that, my lord, we are just fine the way we are. We don't want to hear anything, so what you have to say, whether it is good or bad, We don't need anything. And that is how Advocate Marcella Tefo was rejected from that court. And at the end of the day, they had to call the security who came to move him out of the court by force. That man left in that way with something in mind, knowing that I'm being betrayed by the someone I used to work with. So now, TT THOBANE today is being surprised on how his clients, they decide to bring someone else without him knowing. That's why I ask a question in part 1 of this video to know, how possible is it, guys? How possible is it that you'll be presenting someone inside the court and this person, they stop working with you but without letting you know? When this court was about to start, why this Bongani Tanzi and the accused number 1, they did not call TT THOBANE aside and let him know that, no, look, there is something going on. Here's what we can tell you about. Why? Well, because there is some obvious reasons. From the time when Marcella Tefo withdrew from this case, most of these accused, number 1 to 4, they never really trust TT THOBANE. Trust me, most of them did not really trust TT THOBANE. Most of them, they did remain loyal to Advocate Marcella Tefo. And for your own information, some family of this accused number 1 to 4, they had begged Marcella Tefo to come back. They had asked him, please come back, because they did not want to trust anyone else but Marcella Tefo. I don't know what spirit came over Marcella Tefo, what kind of arrogance came over him. He could not listen to them. The time now when he decided to come back, it was too late for him, because someone that he trusted who could have made things easy for him, he ended up making it very difficult for him. And this time I'm talking about TT THOBANE, who had stood on Tefo Marcella road, blocking him for him not to even talk to the court. Now, these accused, they've been trusting Marcella Tefo better than TT THOBANE. Since Marcella Tefo was not available, then they were like, okay, we don't have a choice. This case, we can't just go around and picking up random advocate to come and present us, because there is a lot going on. So let's just give TT THOBANE a chance to represent us and we'll see. Now that they give TT THOBANE a chance, we get to notice 2 points. For those who always watch my videos, I'll keep on reminding you guys that I have spoken about all these things a couple of times, where I get to tell you some missing point that TT THOBANE has been doing in this case. And for me, if you have to ask my point of view, I'll tell you that I prefer Zandile Mushulolo much better than TT THOBANE when it comes to the asking of question. Because inside this court, we get to see you need to also to be what we call barbar. Someone who you need also to challenge, because no one wants to be a small boy inside that court. When it is the judge himself, sometimes imagine the judge will have to interrupt you for no reason. Sometimes you're asking the question, you're expecting the answer, but the judge have to come and respond the answer to that question that you've been asking the witness. All because the state advocate George Baloyi stood up and objected to the question. So these kind of things need people like Marcella Tefo, whereby they will tell you the truth into your face, looking in your eyes, where they will try to show you their tempers. If you want to get angry, get angry. But unfortunately, that was not the case with TT THOBANE, because we get to see on how TT THOBANE crossing examination And the next things got interrupted by his learned friend. Is not saying much. If it's not learned friend, it is the judge himself, and is not trying to put it to the judge. You guys will even get to see how they got to discuss and exchange words with the Judge Maumele recently, because he could not take it anymore, but it was too late for him. Through TT THOBANE, these accused number 1 and 2 with their family, they end up realizing that if we have to rely on someone as a TT THOBANE, we might end up regretting or crying at the end of the day, because Bongani Tanzi, who's being mentioned in this among people who had entered that house, you will be arrested and be sent to jail. Because if they are visiting Bongani Tanzi, which means they're also visioning accused number 1. Now, they need to do something. They need to put all the possible, is it money or whatever it is, so that they can find a proper lawyer. Because guys, come to think of it, Tumelo Madlala came inside the court and he pointed the finger on Bongani Tanzi, saying that he was one of the 2 guys who had entered Senzo Mewa, Bongani Kelly Kumalo house. Okay. When was the time to ask a question? I said to you again in our videos that mentioning the name of Bongani Tanzi is not something that will just go free like that. It's not something that someone as Tumelo Madlala will come inside the court and say and point the finger on someone and walk away free like that. He needs serious questions to be asked to him, and he needed to provide answers. So this is where we've been all expecting someone, especially like TT THOBANE, to hit his hand on the table and crucify by all means Tumelo Madlala, so that he can prove to court why he have to come and point the finger on the accused number 2. Serious questions. I said to you, serious questions, whereby it has to even to leave Tumelo Madlala to the point of him start regretting. I get even why I had to go and point my fingers on this accused. I should have just kept quiet. I should have maybe just tried to imaginate and not confirm. Because you guys, you get to see how this man, the first day, he had to cry inside the court. They asking him, why are you crying? Oh, I am crying because I can see the man who killed my friend die here. Oh, after all these years, did you guys meet somewhere else? Oh no, I can see they're here, that's why I'm crying. It's my first time I see myself sitting in front of them. Wow. Okay. If that is the case, then I believe we are expecting the rest of people who were in that house, Kelly Kumalo, a sister, a mother, a Longo Twala, other people, they should come. They should come and tell us, or cry as well as much. Tumelo Madlala has been crying. The following day, can you mention the or point the finger on the person you believe that he was in that house? He ended up pointing Bongani. So it was very important for that the advocate who are presenting Bongani Tanzi, they should come forward and ask a crucial question, some serious questions to this man here, so that he can prove on how he believed that Bongani Tanzi is the man who had entered that house. Because when we get to look on the records of Bongani Tanzi, his life and everything, so far with the information we have in our possession, there is no any proof that you can believe or tell, unless maybe there's other solid evidence that can prove that this man is a criminal. Not trying to defend anyone, but we're talking from the evidence and the information that we have in our possession. Because this man has never been arrested before, for your own information. Yes. This man don't have any criminal record. That is just for your own information. Bongani Tanzi, when he was arrested at the place of his work. Which means there is a story to tell. Which means he has people who knows him, people who can come inside that court and testify in his behalf to tell what kind of a person he is when he's at work. So a lot of things that, because people like who commit this kind of crime, you'll find them that they always have some things linked them somehow. But so far, all these years that Bongani Tanzi has been arrested, we have not even had someone coming to the court and say that, okay, there's still some pending business about him with the police somewhere there. So in other words, we trying to say that they have arrested someone who's still kind of like a virgin when it comes to the crime. So now that he's been pointed fingers inside the court, the person who pointed finger to him, he must come and prove to the court now. So they needed an advocate who's supposed to be strong to the question, asking serious question. Unfortunately, when it comes to TT THOBANE, shame. For me, I was not even happy the way he put his questions. Because he will ask you a solid question, something that you need to get a lot of explanation about it. The next things, just because he got objected by his learned friend George Baloy, or just because how to call him, Tumelo Madlala show his arrogance and his attitude to respond to the question, because we all saw how Tumelo Madlala, he was running away from the question. You ask him a question, he's answering with another question. So it's kind of like choosing the question that you want to answer and the question that you don't want to answer. So now, this being said, whenever these things happen, you see TT THOBANE will be like, okay, just for the sake of not us wasting time of the court, I'll leave that. How can you be leaving the crucial questions where you're supposed to be getting the answer? Or just because I don't want to waste time, I'll leave that. You are busy leaving the questions, which was not the case of Zandile Mshilolo. You guys got to see on a very fantastic job that Zandile Mshilolo did last week. The person who ended up exposing Tumelo Madlala, how greedy he is, and how he had used the name of his friend to make money and eat the whole money to himself. All thanks to Zandile Mshilolo, you get to see how she exposed Tumelo Madlala, how he failed inside the court. Did you guys get to understand why, after Zandile Mshilolo finished a cross-examination with Tumelo Madlala, the state advocate George Baloy have to stood up to go and start re-examine again Tumelo Madlala? Because there is something that Tumelo Madlala had missed, and Zandile Mshilolo had put it in the record of the court. So him, as the state advocate, he need to come and clarify, to give Tumelo a second chance, so that Tumelo, he can try to catch up of what he had missed or what he have lied. And on this channel, we make a video to tell you 6 lies that Tumelo Madlala have manifest in his testimony. And there were no doubt. I could even read all your comments. I get to see each one of you, how you guys will get to agree with me. Because the guy was lying and you all could see that this guy is making up a story. I told you on how the guy was well trained by somebody telling him, when they ask you this, you must respond this. Because that's what they're doing out there. Guys, these things did not happen yesterday. We're talking about 9 years ago. Right now, other remains of people were in that house. They have not passed inside the court. Do you know what they're being told so far? Take Kelikumalo, Longo Chwala, Kelikumalo Mada, Kelikumalo sister, Mtokozize. Put them together. Each one of them, they are being told what to say and what not to say. In this case, when they will appear also in court, They need an advocate who will be able to confuse them and get the truth, to the bottom of the truth. In case if they're not telling the truth, they need an advocate who will ask them solid questions so that he can get the truth of what these people are trying to hide. TT THOBANE, nothing. So when it comes to accused number 1 to 4, it was only advocate Marcella Tefo who was having that thing, you know, like when he asks a question, that question comes with funny, but at the end of the day, you are obliged to give the answer to that question. So that was it was a very big disappointment for this other accused 1 to 2. They feel like, if we leave this man continue to present us in this way, we're never gonna go anywhere. We'll get stuck, and our case will be dismissed and will be found guilty, and they'll end up sending us to jail. So to avoid all this, we need to make a plan. And the plan now, they decide to come with someone else. This man come now, according to the law, you need to go through the whole case from day one. You need to get familiar with this case. You need to know what questions that TT THOBANE supposed to be asking someone as a Tumelo Madlala, but unfortunately did not ask this question. You need to know what answer did Tumelo Madlala had given to the court, and it happened that this question, this answer he gave to the court, they were not good enough for his client. So, which means if you find anything that is not sitting okay, you guys, you might be seeing the court cancelling the other new witness to come in, and instead they will take Tumelo Madlala back inside the court so that they can finish up with him. So everything have been stopped. They stop it. Now that TT THOBANE remain with 2 accused number 3 to 4, what will happen next? Because last week, for those who do not know, TT THOBANE has been already threatening the court. He told the court that there's a possibility of him withdrawing from this case. For other reasons, of course, which has to do with money stuff and other stuff. So he was kind of like, no, if they don't, he wrote a letter, I don't know to which organization, they're supposed to be doing some fund to him, and he said if you don't get, he's still waiting for them to respond. If they don't respond, he will have to withdraw from the case. So now tell me, guys, if TT THOBANE had to withdraw from the case as Advocate Marcella Tefo did, what will become of this accused number 3 to 4? And if this accused number 3 to 4, they have to choose another new lawyer, how long will it take again? Because now the court is being adjourned, and you can't withdraw when the court is adjourned. You need to wait for the court to resume, and this court will resume after 6 months. After 6 months, when now we'll be expecting for us to go ahead, continue and with this court. If it happened that TT THOBANE stand up and say that, okay, from now on I'm withdrawing from this case, you know what will happen? Which means the court will be suspended again and postponed it for, I don't know for how long again, so that this accused number 3 to 4, they'll have to find themselves a new lawyer. Once they find a new lawyer, this lawyer will have also to come inside the court to register himself, and then ask for enough time for him to go through these dockets, or for him to get familiar with the case. And all that, we don't know how many times this person will have to need from the court side. Guys, now you get to understand when I keep on telling you that this case of Robert Senzo Meyiwa it will take forever. It will take forever, isn't it? So guys, TT THOBANE is now facing his own circumstances that he had said look for. That is now my point of view on this one, because if TT THOBANE had believed to welcome back Marcella Tefo, if he had listened to him to cover Marcella Tefo's mistake of him withdrawing from this case, perhaps this accused number 1 to 2, they were not gonna think of having another advocate to come and represent them, because they all trust Marcella Tefo. They all believe that the guy was doing good to defend them. But unfortunately, TT THOBANE, he tried to poison the mind. He tried to tell them how they should forget about Marcella Tefo. He had to move on. He tried to guarantee them on how he's gonna go ahead and represent them and represent them in a very good way. But unfortunately, look where we are now. Nothing happened. Nothing good happened. So right now he's busy facing his circumstance that he had to face because of his betrayal of turning back on his colleague when he needed him the most. So we shall wait and see what will happen in the future. For now, we'll have to forget about this case, though a lot of people out there, especially Senzo Meyiwa family, Senzo Meyiwa mother and brothers, sisters, they're never gonna forget this. Each and every time when this court gets to be postponed, it is a crying, like they are crying, I'm telling you. Like right now they're crying. They're crying like, oh my God, here we go again. That's why I come across this one comment, someone saying that this case, the way it is going, there is no way that these people don't like to tell us the truth of what happened. They should just pay damage to Meyiwa family. I don't know how much of money they'll have to give them, and we should move on with other stuff. Well, that actually it is a must. It is a must, and for me, I will say that it's not all about only paying to Meyiwa's family, but they should also pay these people that are being framed inside the court for them to take the responsibility or the guilty of killing Senzo Meyiwa. Therefore, they need also to be paid. But beside that, the justice first. Yes, we all want to see the justice. We all want to know who had killed Senzo Meyiwa and for what reason. If it is a band of people, let them all come inside the court and pay for the crime. That is what we all want. Because if this is not happening, if this can't happen, then I don't know if there will be anyone who will deserve to have a fair justice out there. See how many crimes are being committed in this country each and every day. Yesterday, you saw this DJ who got killed inside the car like a rat. So obviously we would like also to know what happened to him. Who had sent people to come and kill him? For what reason? What did him do? So let each and every crime, or each and every person who commits crime, to pay for their crime. That's all we're asking for. There's no reason for us to hate each other. There's no reason for us to feel bad about each other, but instead, let us just try to find out the truth about everything. That is what people of South Africa would like to see, so that they can continue to trust in the justice of this country. So it is very important we get to note all these points down. Guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video until now. Do me a favor, please, before you leave, subscribe to the channel, give me your thumbs up. I'll really do appreciate it. You know how much I love all your thumbs up. When you give me your thumbs up, I feel good, I feel happy. So it is a way of you also encouraging us from what we are doing time to time here. Giving or liking this video, when you give me a thumbs up, it's not like you are giving me money. No, you are actually just trying to support your brother. You're supporting me with your love and support. You're supporting me so that this video can reach many people who deserve also to know what is happening in this Senzo Meyiwa trial. Besides that, we make some effort to come up with all this information, put them together and try to inform you and talk to you, give you all this our analytics and our point of view on a different matters. So the only things we ask in exchange is not money, but we simply asking you to show us your support by subscribing to this channel and get to like the video. That is all we asking from you. So that is the reason why we keep to insist on that time to time. But above all, thank you so much for those who've been there to support us from day one, without forgetting someone called by the name of Nomonde. So we really do appreciate also your presence here time to time on this channel, and we apologize also for the conditions in which we recording this video, because we are not in our usual studio. As I told you last time, we're a little bit far away from home, so the condition does not really allow us, because we are on duty. So we just have to at least try to come here and inform you and talk to you as we usually do time to time, because that's the reason why we had created this channel, so that you can always be updated, because we are here to keep you on the loop about everything that is happening. Thank you so much. For now, continue to be yourself, be good, be kind, have respect for everyone in order for you to be respected. May God bless you all. I'll see you again very soon. Ciao, ciao.